Hello, it's Natalina Nasruddin with Rise Up For You, and welcome to Rise Up For You TV. As you can see today, I am wearing my ugly sweater, so you know what that means. We are only a few weeks away from the new year. Now, if you're anything like me or anything like most people, this is the time of the year where you are deciding what your next year is going to look like. What are your goals going to be? What do you hope to accomplish? What are your deepest wishes and achievements for the next year? And one of the biggest challenges, though, is many individuals often have a hard time actually setting themselves up for success and understanding how to step into the new year with a plan. In fact, only about 30% of individuals that actually write down their success plan and their goal for the next year actually accomplish it. The majority of individuals do not. So today I'm actually going to share with you a tip and a strategy that I use for myself. My entire team uses it as well, and we use it with clients around the world. Because here at Rise Up For You, we really believe in cultivating the entire human being versus just what I call the career being. So today I'm going to share with you 6 pillars to success to help you step into the new year. But before I do that, just a little reminder of who we are. If you are new to our community, welcome. We're so grateful to have you here. And if you're not new and you're familiar with myself and Rise Up For You, welcome back and thank you so much for being a part of our community. So Rise Up For You, in short, is an organization that works with organizations, leaders, entrepreneurs around the world to enhance performance, communication, and really just team collaboration and dynamics, all through teaching the skills that we often don't spend a lot of time on. And that's what we call the soft skills, the emotional and social intelligence, the leadership, how to manage your time, how to work with individuals, how to show up and read a room, all of those human aspects that can really go unnoticed today that actually make up about 75 to 80% of your success. So that's who we are. Again, welcome to Rise Up For You TV. So let's talk about creating a success plan for the new year. You know, when I first started the company many years ago, the first thing that I ever created was something called the 6 pillars to success. I'm going to share that with you today. You might have heard a version of it. Tony Robbins has a model. Patrick Bet-David has a model of this. There's different versions that are out there. I'm sure you're familiar with one of them. But when I first started the company, I started to realize that there's more than success than just your career. And when I started this company, I really examined myself and asked myself, what does success mean? What encompasses that? And how do we achieve it? And so I started doing research on some of the happiest people in some of the happiest countries in the world. And if you're familiar with the World Happiness Report, then you might know that the past almost 5 to 6 years, the top 5 countries that have the happiest population, the happiest countries, are in the Scandinavian region. So when I started building Rise Up For You, I actually flew to Scandinavia by myself, and I brought a little backpack, and I thought I was going to be able to go 2 weeks with the backpack. And within the first day, I bought this massive luggage because I wanted to buy souvenirs. So I took my luggage and I went by myself, and I went throughout Scandinavia. I went to Norway at the very, very top in Tromsø, went to Oslo, I went to Denmark, I went to Sweden, and I just started to study the lifestyle, the research there, and understand, why are they at the top of the World Happiness Report? I found really quickly that one of the reasons why they're the most successful and happy is because they create a system and a life that allows an individual to truly nurture each area of their life that's important. So I took those aspects and I created the 6 pillars to success to help you really be the best that you can be, whether it's a parent, a leader in the community, even just for yourself. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. I will tell you, as mentioned earlier, I do this exercise 2 times a year. So I do this exercise right on December 31st, the day before the New Year Day, January 1st. And then I always do it again halfway through the year in July to see my progress and where I am with my goals. Now, something that's really important is that oftentimes we create goals for ourselves, but we don't assess where we currently are. So in order for us to step into the new year, really having success and having a strong plan, we need to take a really hard look at where we currently are so that we can understand what's achievable for the following year and really create a strategic and realistic roadmap. sometimes when people don't hit their goals, it's for one of two reasons. A, it's either way too difficult, and so they get discouraged and then they give up altogether, or it's way too easy and so they become disengaged. So we want to make sure that we're pushing ourselves and our goals, but at the same time creating something that is achievable, that's realistic, that pushes our potential and beyond. So, okay, let me share with you the 6 pillars of success. Again, I took these 6 pillars based off of the World Happiness Report, and I asked myself, and along with research, what are the things in life that impact who you are and how you show up? And remember, it's more than just your career. So what are the things in life that truly impact you, that if it fell down like a domino, then the rest of your life is also going to be impacted and affected by it? And as I mentioned, my team and I, we work with leaders and entrepreneurs, organizations around the world. And oftentimes we think that we can just focus on our career, or we can just focus on making money. But the reality is that if you truly want to hit your goals in 2025 or whatever year it is, you have to be cognizant of the fact that other things are happening in your life, and how will they impact you. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to share the 6 pillars to success. I'm actually going to make it pretty easy for you. So if you are watching this right now on a video or at home on YouTube, LinkedIn, whatever it is, you can scan this QR code. If you're here with me on Instagram, then what you can do is you can just go to riseuporyou.com/success quiz. Again, that's riseuporyou.com/success quiz, or you can simply scan the QR code that you see here on the screen, and we're going to go through an assessment first to understand where you are. And then once we get our 6 pillars to success score, I'm going to walk you through a quick 5-step strategy that we use, again, with teams, leaders, and entrepreneurs around the world to help you actually create the right plan for the new year. Okay, so hopefully you got that QR code. Again, if you're watching, you can also go to riseuporyou.com/success quiz. Okay, so the first pillar, if you're following me, the first pillar that we want to look at is self-worth. So I always say your self-worth determines your success, because the things that are in your mind, they are either going to catapult you forward or they're going to cripple you right where you are. That's going to be hard to take action. My team and I, one of the number one things we talk about here is self-confidence and being able to cultivate a positive mindset that's going to help you take action. Unfortunately, again, those of you that are familiar with our community, 83% of professionals struggle with self-confidence. And when you struggle with self-confidence, it can hinder your ability to take action. So I want you to think, okay, here are your thoughts, right? And then here is action. If your thoughts are crippling you, if your thoughts are bringing you down, then this big wall comes between you and action. And we want to break down that wall. So what I want you to do is score yourself 1 through 10. And again, if you're following the quiz, 10 is amazing. Your self-worth, the thoughts that are in your mind are awesome. You're your number one cheerleader. So I want you to score yourself 1 through 10, 10 being amazing, like I got it, I love myself, my self-esteem, my self-worth, my confidence are intact, and 1 being danger zone, and then everything else in between. So go ahead and give yourself a score. That's the very, very first pillar, because again, if your mind is not working in benefit and advantage with you, it's going to be really, really hard to take action as a whole human being and to build a fulfilling and happy life and step into the new year that way. Pillar number 2 is in fact your career. So I don't mean, hey, like you're making millions and millions of dollars. I mean, when you wake up in the morning, do you feel fulfilled? Are you excited to go to work? Is your career thriving? Do you feel like you're being seen? Do you feel valued in your career? Are you doing what you want to do? So 1 through 10, I want you to score yourself on your career. Again, 10 being like out of this world. I'm the happiest I could be. I'm exactly where I want to be. And 1, unfortunately, being danger zone. Number 3, this is the pillar that oftentimes people get really confused about, and that is the romantic pillar. That's right, that is your love life. So where are you 1 through 10 when it comes to romance? Now, the reason why we put this pillar in there is because remember that the person is the professional and the professional is the person. So if you are struggling in your romantic life, if you unfortunately are getting a divorce, if you are struggling with dating, if you are having challenges with your romantic partner, there's no relationship that you have like your romantic partner. right? You have your friends, you have your family, but we know that there's a different chemical exchange that occurs between you and your romantic partner that's different, that also triggers you and sets you off in a different way. Am I right? So we want to rate ourselves 1 through 10 when it comes to romance. So 10 being out of this world, me and my partner are so connected, we love one another. 1 being danger zone, things aren't going well, we're not spending enough time together. And then everything else in between. And I always get this question. They say, well, Netta, what if we're single? And I say, hey, if you're single and you want to be single and you love it and you're living your best life, give yourself a high score. But if you're single and you don't want to be single and you're yearning for that in your life, then give yourself a score appropriately. And here's what I will tell you. I'm going to give you a little secret. These scores can change they can change within 6 months to a year. Okay, and I'm going to share a little story with you a little bit later. So don't go anywhere because you're going to want to hear what I have to say. Pillar number 4 is, I would say, probably one of the most important pillars along with self-worth, and that is your health. And I don't mean, just your physical health. I also mean your nutritional health and your mental health, which we all have, by the way, folks. This is not taboo. We all have physical, nutritional, and mental health. And oftentimes, especially when you're an executive or an entrepreneur, we tend to put that on the back burner. We tend to say like, oh, I'm just way too busy to work out. I'm way too busy to choose my, healthy food. And I totally get it. I have seasons in my life, like now, because it's the holiday, where you're traveling a lot. There's a lot of parties. There's a lot of client things that are going on, and you just can't seem to get in a good routine. But I will tell you that your health determines your wealth. And I'm sure you've heard this quote or some version of it before. Most individuals spend their entire life building their wealth, and then when they're ready to retire, all that money goes to maintaining and building their health back up. Because for so long, they just let their health, whether again it's mental, nutritional, and physical, kind of just rot away. And so it's really important that you put in little things that can help you be optimal physically as a human being, as a person, so that you have the capacity to actually serve. So 1 through 10. 10 being, hey, my health is on par, super healthy. 1 being danger zone. Okay, we are down to our last 2 pillars. Pillar number 5 is your community. It's the relationships that you cultivate. It's the tribe that is around you. Jim Rohn says you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and I am a firm believer of that. People all carry an energy. And as you know, energy impacts everything. I'm a huge firm believer in that. And so I want you to ask yourself, do you constantly have a lot of drama around you? Do you constantly have people that are gossiping, that just create this environment that sucks the energy out of you? Or do you have amazing people around you that believe in you, that uplift you, that help push you and make you better? So I want you to ask yourself that question, 1 through 10, 10 being amazing, 1 being danger zone. Sometimes this is a hard reality to look at this, because sometimes you might realize that, hey, you have family members and maybe even have best friends that have been in your life for years that are what we call vampire suckers, right? They're energy suckers. They just suck the energy right out of you. And at the end of the day, it's not good for your mental health. It's not good for your ability to move forward. When you surround yourself by the right people and around the right people, you will see things in your life change drastically. It's a game changer. And final pillar number 6 is finances. It's all things money. So are you going to bed? Are you stressing at night? Are you constantly struggling to pay your bills? Are you making a ton of money and have no idea where it's going? If God forbid anything were to ever happen to you, do you have cash in the bank that you can support it? I want to say that the new statistic is that less than 10% of individuals in America have $1,000 in their account, right? So if something were to happen and you needed to pay $1,000 or $1,500, most individuals in America cannot and do not have accessibility to that cash. So I want you to score yourself 1 through 10 when it comes to money. 10 being amazing, I got more money than I need. 1 being danger zone, and then everything else in between. So here's what I want you to do. Now that you have the scores to the 6 pillars to success, I want you to add up that score. Now, if you're doing the quiz, it'll do it for you. It'll kick out a percentage. And if you decided to do this at home on your own, you're going to take the score, add it up, and divide it by divided by 60. So let's say you got 45 points, 45 divided by 60, I believe it gives you around a 70-75%. And that is your success score as we stand right now. Now, don't worry if it's a 30%. I see all the scores, just so you know, that we do with the leaders and organizations as mentioned. And I will tell you that unfortunately, most individuals fall under 70%. So the average score right now is about 64%. So if your score is in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, it's okay. What we want to do is have self-compassion around this and just take a look at where we are right now so that we can actually see our growth. And I will tell you that if you have a strong game plan, which we're going to work on here in a second, you can see some drastic results within 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, right? We just got to create the right plan. So before I share with you the 5 steps to actually creating the plan, now that you have your score, right? We all have our score with our 6 pillars to success. I'm going to share with you a little story that I actually haven't shared on social media yet or on anything. A year ago, almost a year ago today, on December 31st, I did my success pillars. And one of the things that I said was, as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, as somebody that's constantly, trying to make an impact in the world and do good, there's areas of your life that sometimes can struggle. And for me, that area was that romantic pillar that we talked about. So one of my pillars that was really important to me last year, 2023, December 31st, was to not only cultivate all of the pillars, but to really try to cultivate and manifest my romantic pillar. Okay. And that was about a year ago. And I worked on it, right? I tried to figure out, how do I make myself better? What kind of man do I want? What kind of relationship do I want to be in? How do I want to approach this? And if you're watching this right now, it doesn't matter where you are, you will notice that I have this ring on my finger, which means that I got engaged. I got engaged a couple weeks ago. And I only tell you that to tell you that if you have a plan, and if you write down, what you want to work through, what you want to achieve, and you set yourself up for success, it absolutely is possible. Okay. So here are the 5 steps that I'm going to give you. The first thing is, now that you've assessed all 6 pillars, for each pillar, I want you to ask yourself what you want. So if you have a 6.5, for example, in self-worth, what do you want that score to be in the next 6 months? So you might say, you know what, my self-worth is a 6.5. In the next 3 to 6 months, I'd like it to be at a 7 or a 7.5. Okay, let's be realistic. We're not going to go from 6.5 to 10, right? But we can go from 6.5 to 7, or 7, to 7.5. So I want you to write down what you want, and then I want you to be specific in that area. So for example, if you are maybe a 6 in finances and you want to get to a 7, what does that look like from a tangibility point of view? So we want to use SMART goals when we are asking ourselves what we want. So instead of saying, I want to make more money, well, that's not really a goal. We could say, in this next year, I would like to bring in an extra $10,000 to $15,000 in generated income in commission or sales. Maybe you're in the sales industry. Or you'd say, in the next year, I would like to bring in an extra $15,000 with my side hustle and bakeries and pastries that I do. Whatever it is, I want you to put something that's really tangible, because then when it comes to reassessing ourselves, it's a really simple, we hit it or we didn't hit it, why or why not? So the first step is, what do you want? Okay, and give yourself the score that you want to achieve in the next 6 months. So again, if you gave yourself a 7, maybe the next 6 months you want it to be a 7.5 or an 8. Okay. Then the second question is, why is this important to you? Why do you want to achieve this? Okay. So let's use health for an example. If you say, in the next 6 months, I want to lose 10 pounds, why? Why is it important to you? Is it just that you want to lose 10 pounds? Is it that your legs are hurting and your knees are hurting and you're not able to run around with your kids? Is it that you want more energy? Why specifically is this goal important for you? Because I'll tell you now that when you have a deep, strong why, your ability to take action is enhanced versus having I just want to, right? So we want to make sure that we stay committed to our goals and not just interested. And so when we can create a true emotional attachment to why we're doing something, it helps increase the chance for success. Okay, so number 2 is, why do you want to achieve this goal? Number 3, probably the most important, how are we going to get there? What are the actual steps that you're going to take in order to achieve that goal? So let's go back to the health goal, for example. Let's say, again, just keeping it simple, you want to lose 10 pounds in the next 3 to 6 months. How are we going to do that? Are we going to go to the gym? Are we going to hire a personal trainer? Are we going to walk, 3 to 5 times a week? Are we going to do an audit of our kitchen and our pantry and get rid of any of the foods that might be processed, that might be unhealthy for our body? Are we going to hire a nutritionist? Whatever it is, what is the strategy to help you achieve what it is that you want? Okay, how are we going to get there? And you want to map that out, and you want to sit and map it out. Okay, number 4. Okay, we're down to 2 more that are super exciting. Number 4, who's going to help you achieve this goal? So remember, we talked about relationships a little bit earlier, and I said you're the average of the 5 people you spend most time with. And hey, I'll be honest with you, sometimes we have people in our life that sabotage us, right? Maybe they're not ready to grow, or maybe they're not in a place that's super healthy mentally, right? And so maybe they're a little bit of a Debbie Downer, or they just don't feel like things are going well in their life. People aren't always happy for you. They don't always want to see you succeed. And sometimes they can sabotage you, right? Have you ever had that friend where you're like, hey, I want to be super healthy. I want to make good decisions today. And they're like, oh, come on, just do it, right? So when you're trying to achieve your goals, we want to, minimize connection with those individuals. I'm not saying cut them out of your life, but you definitely want to set yourself up for success. So who are the individuals that can help you achieve your goals, right? It could be a coach that's going to help keep you accountable. It could be that you're going to see if your spouse wants to come on board, and the 2 of you do it together, and your accountability buddies. But I want you to find the who that's going to help you. And the final step, so remember, we did the what, we did the why, we did the how, we did the who, is the no thank you. That's step number 5. What do you need to say no thank you to in order to achieve your goal? So think of it this way. What are the things that you currently have in your life, or the habits that you currently are doing, that can impact you succeeding and hitting your goals? Okay. It could be binging on Netflix. It can be, drinking and doing things that aren't healthy for your body. It could be hanging out with a certain someone that, you make bad decisions with. Whatever it is, what do you have to say no thank you? It could be negative thoughts. It can be the things that hold you back. What do you have to say no thank you? For me, specifically when it comes to career, the things that I have to say no thank you to, for example, are my email. Is keeping my email open 24/7, because I'm the type of person that if I'm working on an initiative and my email is open, I'm constantly drifting to my email, and then before you know it, I didn't get anything done. And so years ago, I implemented the strategy where I shut my email completely, and I'll only check it like 1 or 2 times a day, and that's it, because otherwise I lose focus, and then I don't achieve my goals, and I don't get my pebbles and my rocks done, if anyone's familiar with EOS. So those are the 5 steps that are going to help you. So I really, really encourage you, as you step into the new year, set yourself up for success. You absolutely can do it. My team and I, we've worked with people around the world, and we've seen the transformation. We've seen the growth. Everything you need to achieve what you want, and to have the goals that you want, and to accomplish what you want as a whole human being, not just a career being, you can do. You just have to set yourself up for success. You got to put a plan together. You got to have the right people around you, and you have to have the mindset to help you make magic and make movement. My name is Natalina Nasruddin. I'm the CEO and founder of Rise Up For You. Welcome to Rise Up For You TV. Every single week, we're bringing you new episodes. We have a podcast, amazing leaders and experts that we bring on the show. I do Rise Up For You TV at least 1 or 2 times a week, and we're so grateful to be here with you to add as much value as possible. If you're looking for additional support, maybe you want that extra push, that accountability, maybe you want that one-to-one coaching, head over to our website, riseupforyou.com. You can find everything about our organization and our team there. Other than that, put your ugly sweater on, happy holidays, and have the best New Year and Christmas ever. Thanks, everyone.